Welcome to this edition of Labor Vision. I'm Bob Delaney, Executive Director of the Institute for Labor Studies and Research. Labor Vision, a production of the Institute, focuses on topics of importance to working Rhode Islanders. We hope you enjoy this edition.
Save the arts, save entertainment. Would you like to go to the show? I want to work. Let's work for you. You know, when I got to go to her, let's get some concerts going. Only once. Live it to the end. You're on your downward fire. You're coming at 9. Oh, don't worry about it. We're drone. I can't get it yet. We just stepped off, though.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Billy Brackett, and I'm the president of IATSE Local 23, stagehands for the state of Rhode Island. Our local has been working in this city, in this state, since 1894. I'm standing here today to represent the union behind entertainment, the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. IATSE Local 23 is a small local, but we fight way beyond our weight class. We have that ability because we have the power of the AFL-CIO behind us, along with the power of an international union that represents over 140,000 technicians, artisans, and craftspeople in the entertainment industry, including live theater, motion picture and television, production, and trade shows in the U.S. and Canada. It's so nice to see other friends of the IATSE here, other locals, and other unions from the state of Rhode Island. I see people from Local 481. I see people from Local 251. I see people from Local 830, Local 99, the AFM, the NEA, and if there's anyone else I've left out, I apologize, but thank you for coming. When our local heard about the grassroots movement, We Make Events, we jumped right on board with the coalition. The support we received from everybody has been amazing. Whether we're talking about local, state, and federal government, the public or private sector, the unions or employers, arts organizations, the list goes on. Everybody pitched in. Nearly everybody we approached wanted to show their support in some way. People we spoke to knew that the entertainment industry got clobbered, but unfortunately, many of the people have been so overwhelmed and beaten down by the social unrest and political upheaval in our country that they didn't have a chance to hear our story. So we're here now to tell our story. We need people to know that individuals, companies, and organizations from our industry are on the brink of bankruptcy. And many workers have been pushed to the brink of homelessness, if not actually homeless. According to one of our reputable sources, 77% of workers in our industry have lost 100% of their income. And 97% of the 1099 workers in our industry have lost their jobs entirely. With that in mind, I'd like to give you a quick list of the legislative points that my international union is striving to achieve. Our list is a little more comprehensive than that of the We Make Events movement, but I think everyone would agree that our interests are still very much aligned. We need to extend the CARES Act's unemployment insurance provisions for as long as the health crisis persists. We need to ensure the safety of our entertainment workers in the workplace by ordering OSHA to issue an emergency temporary standards to protect workers from infection. We need to preserve workers' health care by passing a 100% COBRA premium subsidy to keep families insured. We need to see all nonprofits and labor unions given fair access to government economic support in the PPP. We need to protect the healthy pension plans and earned pension checks of entertainment workers. We need to update the qualified performing artist tax deduction. And finally, we need to provide direct economic support for organizations in the arts, entertainment, and media industries. So thank you all for coming out here tonight to show your support. I'm confident that we've achieved what we set out to do. Through the collective efforts of We Make Events, we brought local and national attention to the dire economic condition of the entertainment industry. Tonight, we'll focus our lights red on homes and buildings across the country to send this message that we need help and that there are countless people suffering from the complete loss of good-paying jobs with good benefits. Here in Rhode Island, I'm proud to say that everyone, both in front of and behind the curtain, worked tirelessly to pull this off. As a 30-year veteran of the entertainment industry, I'm truly humbled by the cooperation and effort everyone's put forth. Thank you all so much. A quick word about our next guest speaker. It's my very good pleasure to welcome an important elected official who is truly a champion of the arts. May I introduce the Honorable Senator Jack Reed, Senator from Rhode Island.
Thanks very much, Bill. The first thing I want to do is salute the genius and talent that is here today that makes Rhode Island a creative center, not just in the country, but the world. Thank you for what you do each day. And please. And of course, that's endangered because with COVID, live venues are shut down. As Bill pointed out, there are hundreds and hundreds of people who are not working, who can't get back to work. There are people that are facing dire circumstances, and we have to act in Washington. We have to renew unemployment compensation benefits. We have to pass PPP bills. We also have to pass the Save Our Stages Act, and I'm a co-sponsor. That would provide money directly to live venues so that they could support themselves while they are not operating. They could pay the rent, they could pay the mortgage, they could take care of things. So when the COVID virus is defeated, we're ready to go back and start the show. Now, one more reason this is so critically important is because the entertainment business is an economic engine for Rhode Island. Providence, all over Rhode Island. We depend upon our theaters, our stages, to give us the kind of economic oomph that brings people here to visit. So you're an economic factor. But more importantly, you're a cultural factor. You are constantly engaged in presenting art to Rhode Island, challenging us, asking us profound questions, doing it in a way that moves and motivates us. We can't lose that cultural and artistic sense. It's part of our country, and you're a big part of that. So I'm here today to say that I'm a proud co-sponsor of the Save Our Stages Act. I'm working hard to pass those other measures Bill talks about. We've got to get back to work. And thank you for what you've done. And keep those stage lights on. Keep the performances going. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Reed. It's such an honor to have someone like you here to represent the state of Rhode Island. We know how much you're doing in Washington for us, and thank you again. We're a little out of order of our speaking program, but that's okay. I'd like to introduce our next guest. It's the Rhode Island General Treasurer, Mr. Seth Magaziner.
Thank you, Bill, for your leadership in this very difficult time. I know it's challenging, but thank you to Bill Brackett. Thank you to Pat Crowley from the AFL-CIO, one of the strongest advocates for working people in the state of Rhode Island, to Senator Reed, but mostly thank you to all of you. You are the very best of Rhode Island. You keep our economy going. You make our arts and culture scene the envy of the country. You bring people here to Rhode Island, and you are the very best of us. And now, in this time of turmoil, it is on us in government to say that we see you, we appreciate you, we support you, and we have your back. So, as Senator Reed said, and as Bill said, we all need to advocate to expand unemployment benefits for the duration of this crisis, to make sure that we cover health care for those who are unemployed, to make sure that we invest in our arts and cultural organizations to keep them alive in these difficult times, because we will get through this, and when we get through this, we want to make sure that our arts and culture scene and all of you come back stronger than ever. So, I want to ask all of you, let's make sure that we send Jack Reed back to the United States Senate on Election Day so that he can continue to fight for us in Washington. I know David Cicilline's coming. We got to send him back in November as well. They get it, and not enough people down there do. So I'm just here to say that we are with you, we see you, we appreciate you, and we have your back. Hang in there, everybody, and thank you for making Rhode Island a great place. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That case in point, we have to send our elected officials back to Washington, the ones that look out after our interests, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'd like to introduce our next guest speaker, Patrick Crowley. He's the Secretary-Treasurer of the Rhode Island AFL-CIO. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. Brothers and sisters, thank you very much for inviting me to address you tonight.
I got to tell you, I've never seen a local union that has worked as hard as they have to protect their members. I mean, I've been in meetings with Billy and Charlie over the last couple of months, ever since the pandemic hit, and every single time they are on the phone or in a virtual meeting, they are making sure that your interests are front and center of the labor movement's concerns. They really have your back, and I'm glad to see everyone out here tonight supporting the local union, so thank you very much. Brothers and sisters, there are 80,000 members of the Rhode Island AFL-CIO across the state of Rhode Island. We are a force to be reckoned with, but not because we have numbers. We're a force to be reckoned with because people like you are willing to stand up and fight for what is right. A lot of the members that we represent, just like you, don't get called heroes on a day-to-day basis. Why? Because we go to work, we do our jobs, we make sure our brothers and sisters are safe, and we go home. We don't call attention to ourselves, but we make sure every single day the industries that we work in are performing at their top level. And you know what? It's time that the industries of this country and that the government of this country reciprocate on the favor and take care of us. Right now, working people like us are hurting. And Congress, not our delegation, they get it. But Congress needs to get their act together. They need to pass another CARES Act. They need to pass the Save Our Stages Act. They need to recognize that every single one of us is not an individual. We're men, we're women, we're fathers, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives. We are family, and we take care of each other. Not just the members of our immediate family, but our union family. So, what I'm going to pledge to do with you, if you stand with me, we will stand with you all the way through the end. George Nee, the president of the AFL-CIO, and myself and the entire executive board have been following your struggle, and we will march step by step with you until the fight is won. Thank you very much for what you do. Stand together in solidarity forever. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. It's a pleasure to have representation of the AFL-CIO here. Our last speaker tonight, I'd like to introduce Congressman David Cicilline.
Thank you, Billy. It's great to be with all of you. First of all, let me just say, I know my senior senator, Senator Reed, spoke. I know Treasurer Magazina is here. Our chief is here. But I'm delighted to be with all of you, the members of IATSE. We have, at least in the democratically controlled House, responded quickly to the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact it's had on the lives of people all across this country, and particularly people here in Rhode Island, and especially people who support arts and cultural organizations and theaters and music venues. We passed the HEROES Act because we decided that in addition to the 4 bills that we did already, we needed to pass a big comprehensive bill that really meets the moment, both the economic devastation of COVID-19, the healthcare challenges of COVID-19, and really helped families get through the worst economic crisis that this country has faced in a generation. That was a $3.3 trillion bill, $5.5 billion that would come to Rhode Island. It provides for hazard pay for workers on the front lines, $75 billion for testing, tracing, and isolation, nearly $1 trillion for state and local governments to support our heroes on the front lines, assistance for mortgage and rental assistance, food security, and a whole range of other issues. But in particular, what we paid particular attention to in introducing another piece of legislation called the Restart Act was that there are a lot of arts and cultural organizations, music venues, that are going to be lagging in the recovery because it's going to be longer before people will go to venues because of COVID-19 and the gross mismanagement of this pandemic. And so we created a separate piece of legislation specifically for music, arts, cultural organizations, and folks who work in them, so make sure that they have the resources to restart and reopen. That piece of legislation, the HEROES Act, has been sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk since May 15th. And, you know, he has 3 options. He could take up the HEROES Act and pass it right away and bring very desperately needed relief here back to Rhode Island. He can take it up and amend it and send it back to the House for action, or he can pass his own relief bill, and we can send it to a conference committee to work out the differences. But what he cannot do is nothing. And that's what he's done so far. So everything we can do to keep pressure on the Republicans in the Senate to take this bill up, to recognize people are hurting. Families are being devastated. People are out of work, record levels of unemployment, and the federal government has a responsibility to help, and particularly in arts and cultural and music venues. When you think about the moment we're living through, if there was ever a time that people need to go and enjoy music and theater and have their spirit renewed, it's in this moment. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for being here tonight, because the only way we're going to force Mitch McConnell to care one bit about working people in this country is for rallies like this to happen all across America, and the Republicans in the Senate to feel the pressure that if they don't act to do something to help people, they're going to face the consequences in November. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do, and I promise I'm going to keep fighting to get more relief back to Rhode Island, and that you and your families can be taken care of during this horrible pandemic. Stay safe. Thank you very much.
Well, that concludes our evening of discussion, or speaking. The rest of this evening is really a visual event, and we hope that people can look at the city in lit and red from their homes, and they can watch what happens across the country as this movement spreads.
I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for all the hard work and effort that you put into this rally, for all the things you've done to show what we have here. I wanted to thank the venues for letting us use their equipment. I wanted to thank just about everybody that had anything to do with this. It's been a long, hard road for the last week and a half. We did it. Let's make it happen.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Labor Vision. We appreciate your input and encourage your comments. Labor Vision can be seen on this channel 3 times each week: Tuesday at 7 p.m., Thursday at 8 p.m., and Saturday at 5 p.m.